Hey everyone, welcome back to Vizag Life. And in this video, we'll be going on a short walk along the fishing harbour here in Vizag. Now I know that the fishing harbour is not the most glamorous place to visit. People usually see it as a noisy place, not so clean surroundings, and a strong, sometimes even unbearable smell of fish. But there's so much more to the fishing harbour than just the fish market. Today I want to take you on a complete tour of the fishing harbour so that your perception of the place changes, and also so that it might inspire you to actually go visit the place. So let's get started. The fishing harbour is situated right next to Vishaka Container Terminal Limited, which you can reach by taking the straight route on Beach Road, crossing Notel Hotel, Coastal Battery and Jalrapet area. The landmark to watch out for is the junction where a water tank, town hall and the container terminal are located. You need to take a left turn at this junction. The fishing harbour is a very vast area spread over 24 hectares. Set up in 1976, it is part of Visakhapatnam Port Trust, and is actually one of the three harbours in Vizag, the other two being the outer harbour and the inner harbour. The best way to explore the fishing harbour is to walk along the road connecting the various jetties. So that is where I start. The fishing harbour gets up very early in the morning, even before the sunrise. People get ready for the hectic work ahead, and many boats, especially the small catamarans, start out early so that they can return by evening the same day. By around 7 or 8 in the morning, the place turns into a crowded, noisy place. As we enter the fish market area, the strong smell of saline water of the sea combined with fish that is typical of a place like this greets you. It is a place bustling with activity, unending bargaining between the vendors and customers, and verbal altercations between the vendors competing for the same customers is quite common. When we talk of fish, it's not just the fresh fish but dry fish as well. The order of dry fish is quite distinct from that of fresh fish. All along the road, fish is dried in huge quantities. To the right, there is a wall that separates the fishing harbour and the container terminal. That wall will be soon demolished as the container terminal has plans for expansion. So this fish market will move out from here. A new premises under more hygienic conditions is being constructed nearby. The area at the beginning contains various installations and offices that form the support structure of the fishing harbour. There are ice factories that supply ice to the boats, which is critical to keep the fish fresh. There are offices of the dock inspector, exporters procurement center and the boat operators welfare association. Then there are installations of HPCL and IOC. The boats require fuel and refrigeration compressor oil, which are supplied by these installations. One thing to note is that this is a very sensitive area. There are numerous restrictions on access and free movement. The watchtowers, fencing, boards of prohibited place, all this signify the sensitiveness of this place. The fish market by itself is not sensitive, but the areas surrounding it are sensitive, including the port area, the container terminal, the slipway, breakwaters, fencing, the area beyond Jetty 11. Even the installations of HPCL and IOC are classified as prohibited places. All this because this is the coastline, and though not technically, in a way these are international waters, so constant vigil is put here. On the left there are jetties projecting into the waters. A jetty is just a protruding structure with boats berthed on either side. The fishing harbour here has 11 jetties. A number of boats are berthed along these jetties. There are more than 1,000 fishing vessels operating from Vizag Fishing Harbour, including around 700 mechanized boats and around 400 motorized boats. As many as 60,000 persons directly or indirectly depend on the harbour for a livelihood. Standing at the edge of any jetty, you get a stunning view of the entrance to the fishing harbour with breakwaters on either side. Ever wondered those lines of rocks you see from the beach? They are called breakwaters, and they protect the boats from strong waves. These boats are now anchored behind the breakwaters where they can stay safe from violent waters. As we walk along, there are boats and boats and boats everywhere. The boats come in all sizes, from the small catamarans to mechanized boats to motorized boats to big trawlers. They are anchored to the shore by means of jute or nylon ropes. When anchored, they appear as if they are put to sleep by the rhythmic movement of the seawater. Watching a boat dancing lightly to the moving water is such a cute sight. I wondered how it would feel to be inside a boat and feel that movement. So I approached the owner of a boat which is anchored and asked him if I could get in. He was so nice to have permitted me. I would not say that the movement is wild, but it's enough for you to lose balance if you do not get your stance right. I spread my feet wide apart, and in that position I was stable, and I could then enjoy a great view of the harbour entrance. There's always something going on here. The boats and their personnel are busy in their work. You can see boats getting ready to start the voyage, boats actually starting out the voyage, boats returning to the harbour after the voyage, and boats unloading the fresh catch. It sometimes strikes me as surprising that such a small place as this is the hub of export revenue generation. Visakhapatnam accounts for seafood exports of around 7,500 crores, which is 17% of the country's total marine exports of 45,000 crore. The seafood exports go to various countries including US, European Union, Japan, Southeast Asia. So this is a big revenue generator in the city. There is a definite need to improve the hygienic conditions of the fishing harbour so that it meets the export standards of countries like the European Union and others. There are plans to upgrade the fishing harbour at an estimated cost of 40 crores, though as of today that plan has sort of hit a technical roadblock. On one of the jetties, some workers are building a boat. Over the past few months, I have been visiting this place a number of times, and I could actually see this particular boat being built from its very infant stage to now almost completion stage. However, not all boat building is new. Repairs are done to boats for minor defects, and for major defects, like this boat, which was severely damaged in the recent cyclone, major work needs to be done. Every now and then, some major vessel visits the harbour, and at that time, they are given priority in berthing over the boats and trawlers. Today, Matsya Shikari of the Fisheries Survey and Coast Guard vessel have arrived, and they will be berthed here for a few days. We are now getting to the back end area of the fishing harbour. It has become really quiet now. We are far from the noise of the fish market. Also, that distinct smell of salt seawater and fish, which accompanies you from the beginning, now starts to fade. The last time I came here, a group of youngsters were jumping into water. A bunch of youngsters were climbing from the water below onto the trawler and jumping like divers into the water. It was amazing to watch the dexterity in holding the edges of the hull and climb up. Then they climbed up the railing and jumped into the water beneath. As they jumped, most made shrieks of joy. It is a perfect afternoon pastime. A few steps further is a port control room from where vigilant officers keep an eye on the sensitive waters right around the day. An armed security guard keeps constant vigil. The control room's radar communicates with incoming foreign ships to guide them to the direction and ultimately to appropriate berths at the outer and in the harbours. A cabin of a dilapidated ship is separated and stands near port control room. I couldn't resist temptation to peep inside to see what's inside, which drew curious looks from people around. While this is put up as a piece of exhibition, there are a number of old unused boats and trawlers in the harbour. Some are wrecked, some are in too bad shape to be repaired, but many are just unused because of the dwindling catch over the years. This year I was told was particularly bad. A normal trip of 15-20 days at sea costs around 4 to 5 lakhs for diesel, salaries and other operating expenses. So the catch needs to be plentiful to recover that, otherwise losses of 1.5 to 2 lakhs are quite common. That quickly puts the boat owners out of business. You can see a number of old boats that met this fate. Towards the berths near control room and Jet 11, you can observe a number of trawlers that were left unused for a very long time because of this very reason. The detour around control room takes us through a gate towards Jet 11, and finally it ends at the jetty for ONGC offshore vessels. It is at this jetty number 11 where AP Tourism operates a speedboat that takes passengers on a 10-minute boat ride into the sea. I'm sure many of us locals are not even aware of this place because most of us go to Rushkonda for boating. The speedboat here can accommodate only 10 to 12 passengers. It's a short 10-minute ride with top speed of 75 km per hour. The operator told me that a tender has been floated for purchase of new bigger vessel, and in 4 to 5 months time it will be operational. That will accommodate more people and will go a lot more deeper into the sea. There was a group of tourists from Odisha and Bengal gathered around nearby. These were tourists who were on a daily tour package of AP Tourism. They were brought here for the boat ride, and after the ride they were just checking out the place. I went to see what is arousing their interest. A boat has just returned from the sea after a fortnight of voyage. fresh catch is being unloaded from the boat, put on weighing scale, carefully monitored by a supervisor, and then loaded into a truck belonging to one of the seafood exporting companies. Not just tourists, even students come to this place to learn about the coastal areas. Today, students from Telangana Model School of Jaishankar Bhupalapalli district came here on a study tour. Access beyond jetty number 11 is usually not permitted, especially when Navy vessels are there. On other days, you can request the watchman to go beyond that, but after that it is pretty much the end of the road. It's all ocean beyond that. Deep inside, I wish the road continued further ahead. From here, the city skyline can be seen from a very different angle, something which we normally cannot see. Some youngsters were looking down the rocks. A young dolphin has washed to the shore and someone spotted it. One guy quickly climbed down the rocks to see if it is still alive, while others were requesting him to push it back into the sea so that it might live. But unfortunately, it is already dead. I am now on my return walk. I stopped at the fence separating the harbour from the sea on the side of the container terminal limited. Looking through this fencing presents a beautiful sight of dolphin's nose. This is the closest land spot in the city from which one can watch dolphin nose. While the dolphin nose appears as a pale blue rock formation from far, from here it appears much bigger and much clearer. In fact, on a clear day you can also see the green trees on it. The fence separating the fishing harbour from the sea once again signifies the sensitivity of this place. In the past, access was actually allowed to the breakwaters, but now the access to go there is only by permission. I asked the security person over there regarding this, and they said this place has become a suicide spot and hence nobody is now allowed there. I wish I could sit on the rocks and watch the lovely sight from there. The sun is now setting towards west and hitting the waters, creating a silver sheen. The water hitting the rocks and the sound of water softly kissing the rocks. You just have to be there in person to experience it. I just didn't want to leave that place. You wouldn't have either. With that, I started taking the return walk. If you're planning to come here after watching this video, note that a slow, leisurely walk all the way from the entrance to Jetty 11 will take around 15 to 20 minutes one way. So be prepared for 30 to 45 minutes time if you plan to explore this place by walk. However, you can drive by road all the way up to Jetty 11, though the road can be congested. In that case, consider going there in the afternoon somewhere between 3 to 4 when the fish market becomes less active and the crowd is less. It has been a really wonderful experience. I was a bit embarrassed that having been born and brought up in this city and having lived all my life here, I have never really explored this place. The fishing harbour is one of those places that not a lot of people go, but therein lies its attraction. Being a largely unexplored and secluded area, it provides a perfect place for a short walk. Surrounded by the sea on three sides, the fishing harbour sits right in the middle of nature. You'll surely enjoy it. I think nature always wants us to be close to it, but it's the barriers, man-made barriers, which is preventing us from being close with nature.